Hello and welcome. Today we have with us Lieutenant General Syed Ata Hasnain. General Hasnain brings his 40 years of very illustrious experience through his prolific writing and his expertise on countering transnational extremism and strategic issues centered around Jammu and Kashmir, the Middle East, and Pakistan. General Hasnain, it is such an honor for us to have you with us. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you
Let
very
me
much.
get straight to my first question. Post the removal of Article 370, what has really gone right and what has really gone wrong in Kashmir?
Well, since 1989, 30 years had gone by, and the separatist movement, political on one side, terrorists related on the other side, was merrily going along, ups and downs. We had succeeded to a great extent many times, but each time somehow it managed to erupt once again. So, what the government did in 2019, to my mind, was an absolutely correct decision. Constitutionally, they addressed it. And that sent home the message very clearly that it was an all of government, the whole of the entire Indian state was behind it. And they did it with a through the parliamentary approval route. That, I think, put them on a high horse morally. And then, of course, they took all the measures to make sure that street turbulence was curbed. The internet was down and it led to a lot of criticism, but then the government withstood that criticism. It had an outreach internationally. It brought in lots of diplomats from the diplomatic corps, took them to Kashmir. At the same time, the levels of violence came down after what we had seen a high from between 2016 and 19, particularly after the death of Burhan Wani. So, altogether, 2019, 5th of August was a very important landmark. It could have gone haywire, the whole thing. It could have led to huge amounts of violence, but I think the government did well in controlling that violence. The terrorist strength wasn't too big, wasn't too large. I think the security forces did well in ensuring that recruitment was marginalized to an extent. Infiltration did not take place. So, strength of terrorists also generally remained static, or there were minor ups and downs. The very important thing was to reach out to the people and convince them and reach out to the international community. I think on both fronts, we've done reasonably well, except the fact that the pandemic came in the middle, which perhaps took away some of the energy which was available with the government to carry out this kind of an outreach. So I would say this is still a half done work. Internationally, since a lot of things have happened with the Ukraine war now, the pandemic before this, the resetting world order, Kashmir seems to be generally a forgotten entity for the moment. And this is a very good thing with Pakistan and the manner in which it is at the moment, politically, militarily, economically down at the moment completely. A new threat has emerged in the Chinese front. So the Kashmir side is relatively low, lying as far as the priorities are concerned. And this is the time to work in the people's domain. I think the government is doing well. To that extent, reaching out to the people, particularly to the youth, bringing in lots and lots of economic aspects into development. Many of them are showcased, some of them are not showcased. I would say where the government needs to perhaps increase anything at all is its communication strategy. To reach out to the people and to show the rest of India and show the rest of the world how much the Indian state is doing for Kashmir, the Kashmiri people, and what advantage the Kashmiri people have by being a part of the Indian state rather than being a part of Pakistan or being independent for that matter. So that bit is still a work in progress, and I would say it will take the better part of the next couple of years. Uh, Politically, they say that's what the common belief is that elections are important to be able to peg the final success of what the decisions which were taken on 5th of August 2019. And the Honorable Home Minister has been many times to Jammu and Kashmir to ascertain for himself, is this the right time for elections, etc. Obviously, those decisions are very, very crucial decisions and will take their time. and will have a lot to do with the national elections of 2024. So I think we are at a stage where decisions cannot easily be taken. But this 2023 is a very crucial year.
Right, right.
Stability this year, no infiltration, minimal recruitment, uh, and a energetic outreach to the people should help the government of India in ensuring that Jammu and Kashmir becomes far more integrated than what it ever was with India.
So you've mentioned and spoken quite a bit about how we need to improve communications. And it's also, I think, commonly believed that Pakistan's communication was a lot better than India's. How was that possible?
You see, yes, this is a very interesting aspect. Pakistan has been adept at communication right from 1949, that when they chose to raise the Inter-Services Public Relations Agency, ISPR, which is hardly known in India. It's the ISI, which is far more known here. The ISPR has worked on this fairly long. It's not as if they are completely professional, but in the absence of any other challenges from the Indian side, where we were just doing our work, but we were not really projecting it to that extent, the Pakistanis had an advantage. I think that issue has been realized to a great extent in India today. And slowly we are working on it. But this is a thing, this is a domain which needs a tremendous amount of focus. India has got all the means. We've got enough institutes of mass communication. Our media has come of age, very strong media. I think the government is already working on this to a great extent, and it's just a matter of time. You see, the internet is full of the Indian narratives at the moment. It's a question of getting your narrative stronger than your adversaries' narratives. That is what communication strategy is all about. And I think more the government of India professionalizes this, which it is already doing, greater will be the gains, not only in Jammu and Kashmir, but in many other parts of India. Maybe the Northeast, which is doing well today. It can be in parts of any other parts along the Red Corridor, for example, or along the Maoist affected states, which are today, of course, in far greater control than they ever were before. So, strategic communication takes a little time to come into being. You have to find the right tools for it, you have to find the right narratives for it, and you have to find the right people for it.
Right.
So, I'm very hopeful that this is a domain that we will definitely progress with in the near future.
So you have a great insight into Kashmir and what's happening there today. What is the situation like? And as you said, economically, politically, Pakistan is at a brink of disaster, yet we haven't seen any sort of decrease in violence. What does that mean for the Hindu community, and do you think that they would ever be able to resettle?
No, in terms of absolute violence, there has been a fair amount of dilution, but yes, what is worrisome is this targeted, focused violence against the minority community in the valley. It's been against the Sikh community, it's been against migrants who have come from Bihar or from UP, it's against the Kashmiri Hindus. Obviously, this is the soft segment, the soft element within Kashmir. Easy to target, living in isolated communities in different parts of the valley. The government has attempted to try and provide them physical security by making sure there are police pickets. There's a strong army presence generally nearby their townships and villages. But yet, the possibility of a one-off attack of this nature is always there, and that gets exaggerated into the environment. Obviously, that makes a huge difference in terms of the impression and the perception which is created outside. So, we have to find means of ensuring that security and making sure there is a zero error kind of a syndrome which is there. We even find our soldiers getting targeted. Some of our soldiers of the Jammu and Kashmir Light Infantry are getting, they are Muslims themselves, many of them are Muslims. You heard the famous case of Aurangzeb, who was targeted in Shupian. So there are many such cases like this. Physical security, 100% assurance may not always be possible to that extent, but definitely you need to assuage feelings and you have to make sure that the message is strong that the Indian state will hit back against all these elements who are attempting to create this dissonance in the valley. I think we have succeeded in doing it. And even now, although there are demands from the minority community to allow them to go to Jammu and settle down there, etc., I think the government of India is preventing this from happening, and that's important because we cannot be seen to have been defeated by the terrorists. This is a very important symbolic message which has to go out. And it's more of the cooperation of the people and ensuring that by making sure of their security, but also reaching out to them, assuaging their feelings. That is the important part of it. Despite all our efforts, an odd thing may happen here and there. I suppose that is just a part of the unfortunate situation that Jammu and Kashmir has been in the last 30 years.
So let me finally come to the situation in Pakistan and its impact on Kashmir. Do you think with the TTP now being in conflict, the Taliban being in conflict with the Pakistan government, Kashmir is now not on their priority list?
See, at any given time, for the security establishment of Pakistan, there are three priorities. And these can be juggled around in priority 1, 2, 3, labeled as by any of these. First is Afghanistan. Second is internal security of Pakistan, that is the Tehrik-e-Taliban issue, etc., or the Lashkar-e-Jhangvi and such organization. And the third is Jammu and Kashmir. During the Burhan Wani upsurge, Jammu and Kashmir became priority 1. And for many years it remained priority 1. Right? Today, you are absolutely right. Jammu and Kashmir will be priority 3. There is a ceasefire, successful ceasefire on the line of control since 25th of February 2021. I think this is a compulsion virtually which General Bajwa had recognized, understood, and worked for and ensured that there were no breaches in the ceasefire. Now, Pakistan at the moment is deeply involved in Afghanistan on the Durand line, on the border with Afghanistan. Its relationship with the Taliban isn't too good in any way. Its financial situation is very, very challenging at the moment, and therefore is creating local internal dissensions within Pakistan, which will probably lead to many more instances of internal security problems. And perhaps to add to that is something which most people are not yet discussing, and that is the effect of the environment, that is the floods. 2.3 million refugees have come out of that.
That's right.
$30 billion of this worth of destruction has taken place. The effect of this is going to tell on Pakistan in the years to come.
That's right.
So if you got such challenges internally, and you have external challenges on your western border, no assurance of a good relationship with the Taliban, dependence on the United States is looking at dependence on Pakistan for its outreach to the Taliban. Pakistan is definitely going to get involved with whatever happens in terms of exchanges and parleys there. The attention of the establishment of Pakistan is going to be internally and in the West. To pick up something on the eastern border, on the line of control, which they cannot carry through, would be a suicidal decision. Although, to my mind, Pakistan is known to take these kind of decisions many times. For example, Kargil. They're the world's greatest conflict initiators and the worst terminators. Right? Right? So you never know, tomorrow they can pick up something.
Yeah.
So we have to be prepared at all times. This maverick kind of attitude towards national policy making on national security and things like that, with a neighbor like Pakistan, unpredictability is always there. And that is something with which India has to ensure that we are always prepared. So in my assessment, I do not think 2023 is going to be a very challenging year. I don't think things will happen in Jammu and Kashmir to that extent. But the possibility of a few upsurges here and there from time to time, like what's recently happened in Rajouri, or something which has recently happened on the Jammu, in the area of Jammu, while on the movement on the national highway itself. The one place we need to be concerned about is the possibilities of something happening in conjunction between northern Punjab and the Jammu region. This is the area which is now emerging as the drug conduits, financial conduits. This is the area through which terrorists have attempted to come in even recently. And Pakistan has got its eyes on Punjab, hoping like to make it unstable, extend the J&K terrorist issue right into Punjab once again. This is something we need to be conscious about and perhaps take our preemptive measures before things go any worse.
Well, sir, thank you so much for giving us that insight. And, I'm sure India will remain cautious and have its eye on
Absolutely.
Pakistan.
Absolutely. Thank
as
you so
said.
much.
Thank you so much for joining us.